Good morning. We are making olive oil soap and I have been stirring it for an hour. Constantly stirring it for an hour. Usually I don't stir it like that. I'll stir it for 15 minutes. Let it go. Just go do other things. Come back after a while and stir it for another 15 minutes until it become heavy enough to pour it. But this time I wanted to stir it for an hour to see how that will be affected. And that's olive oil soap, so it's going to take a while for this to thicken it up. And I thought maybe stirring it for an hour might make a difference. So let me show you. And while I'm stirring, I can show you. I've been reading this book and stir it, and I didn't really focus on the book much. I was more focusing on stirring, but you can see that it changed color a little bit, right, from when we first mix it together. But olive oil is liquid, coconut oil is somewhat solid, but olive oil is the main ingredient, so it's going to take a while to become heavy enough to pour it. And I'm thinking about letting it rise, or I can do something else, or just keep stirring it for another hour to see if stirring it for 2 hours will make any difference, But I just want to show you how it is, and from time to time I'll scrape the edges into it as well, so that everything is well mixed. And I can stop for you to see. I still have a little bit of oil on top, but pretty much the whole point, in fact that's the first time I really took my hand off of it like that. The whole point is to mix the oil and the water. That's two things that don't mix well. So, and having the sodium hydroxide in it, we want to mix the molecules from the oil, the molecules from the water, so that the saponification process can start, where the water and the oil, or the lye and the oil, will turn into soap and glycerin. And that's the benefit of making your own soap. You don't take the glycerin out of the soap. I believe, or I heard that commercial producers, they take the glycerin out of the soap and use it and sell as a byproduct. But making your own soap, you don't even have the tools to separate the soap from the glycerin, so the soap will be very mild and good for your skin because it's quite high in glycerin. And it really changed color, but I think it will be a while. It's a little bit on the heavy side as well, but not quite. So it's going to take a lot of stirring to really blend it well, and for that to start taking it up. But we can see that it's changing little by little. And if I have used a blender, the blender will speed the process, but it's just going to be too loud for my liking. So I just like to hand stir it. It's calmer. In fact, it makes me sleepy. And I don't know if I show you the time, and I don't know if you saw the time before when we started, but you can see it now. So I've been stirring it for an hour and a little bit over that. And you can see that it's a little bit different from how it was before, but I still have a small layer of oil on top, so we want everything to blend in together. And the pot is now hot, it's kind of locked warm, and that's called process soap. The stove is off. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, the stove is off. I'm just using it like a table to hold the pen. So that's cold process. We originally warm the coconut oil to melt it and let the light cool a little bit outside while we are mixing. While we waited the oil, and we mix everything together. So it's quite cold, barely warm. But the saponification process usually will heat up the mixture, so the temperature it will rise. But at this point it's on the cold side, and I just have to keep stirring it to help bind those molecules together. And it is a pricey soap in that sense that all the ingredients are expensive. You know, the extra virgin olive oil is expensive. If you find organic one, it will be even more expensive. The certified organic, USDA certified organic coconut oil is expensive as well. So those two oils are quite expensive for me, and will be easily over $30. And then we have the food grade sodium hydroxide. That is a little bit expensive as well. So yeah, I won't be surprised if all those three total to $40. So that'll be about $40 raw cost of the raw materials in this part. So a lot of time I'll polish the soap, reminding the kids not to leave it in water because it melts. So it's good to keep your soap dry to make it last longer. And some soap melts quicker than others. I noticed it that cocoa butter soap lasts a little longer than olive oil soap. We are using the soap right now, I believe it's olive oil and coconut oil soap, and it doesn't last at all. I mean, it doesn't melt or anything unless you put it in the water. But compared to the soap we've used before this one that we are using now, it doesn't last much. So I'm testing those. We use them as well ourselves, so that helps me understand the different type of the effect, the impact of the oil that I use on how long the soap will last while we start using it, and how hard the soap is, and how quicker it can trace, like becomes heavy for me to pour it in the mold. So, and in fact I wanted to make cocoa butter soap this time, but when I tried to purchase the oil online around this pandemic time, the shipping was quite pricey. So I just resorted to buy the olive oil from the store, and the coconut oil I have it in stock already, so I was able to make it. And it's coming around, you know, it's changing little by little. But pretty much that's that. I'm just going to keep stirring it and see if I'll be able to stir it for another hour again. And I start the whole things around 2, probably by 2:30. I start the whole things, and so it took us 2 hours already. So that's how much labor time it takes to make this soap. So it is a pricey soap, and purchasing it can be heavy on the wallet. But if you cannot make it yourself, yes, you'll buy it. But if you can make it yourself, it might save you money to make it yourself. But I just like to make my soap natural and few ingredients as much as possible. And if the soap has a color, it will probably be the ingredients in it. It could be the oil, or it could be the herbs, if I add herbs to it, or if I add milk to it, or honey to it, you know. So those who naturally gives it, they naturally give it a color. But rather than that, I don't put dye or artificial color or fragrance in my soap. Also, cocoa butter soap might give it a scent as well. It will give it a chocolate smell. At least if you are not used to cocoa butter soap, you will smell the chocolate in it for a while before your nose will get used to it. So other than that, I just like it natural. So if you are looking for natural soap, we invite you to visit our website ninasoap.com and purchase our soap there. And this one, when I let it cure, I might let it cure for about 3 weeks, and then it will be available for sale on our website as well. But that's that. I'll keep stirring it for a while to see if that will help trace, because I wanted to get it down completely and pour it so that I can time how long it really takes me to work on it from start to the finish. And when I first started, it was 208 that I started looking for the formula, and that's a formula that I used in 2018. And in case you have not seen it, that's the formula here, and that's what I measured. That's what we have in the pot, and that's what we are working with. Thank you for watching. I'm Afiavi Ojuna Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and owners of Nina Soap. Our website is ninasoap.com.